A warm welcome to everyone for the geography lecture of Standard 10th. My dear students, after having completed a few lessons, today, after a short break, we are going to continue again with our syllabus. Now, to begin with, I would like to start with lesson number 7, that is human settlements. Now, my dear students, before entering into the lesson, it is very right and apt to have a short discussion or a short introduction about what we mean by human settlements. So let's have a short introduction, my dear students. Now, what do we mean by human settlements? Human settlements means clusters of dwellings where humans reside. Now, to tell you in simple word, human settlements is nothing but a place where human beings reside. What you mean by reside? Reside is nothing but stay. So a place where human beings stay, it is called as a human settlement. Now these settlements, my dear students, they vary in size and types. It means that these settlements come according to various sizes, that is, some may be very huge, very large, and according to various types also. Say for example, we have got nucleated, we have got dispersed settlements, we have got linear settlements. You have studied about all of these in your previous classes also, okay? Then now mainly we can divide the settlements into two, okay, that is rural and urban. Now let us see what we mean by rural and what we mean by urban. So my dear students, rural is also known as villages, okay? So villages are sparsely located small settlements specialized in primary activities. So villages first of all are very sparse, that is they are few in number. People staying there are very few in number, okay? And they are mainly in remote areas, that is places very far away from the cities, okay? And they have a very small settlement. Next is they specialize in primary activities. What you mean by that? It means that the main occupation of the people in the villages, my dear students, is related with the primary activities. And what you mean by primary activities? That is activities like agriculture, fishing, mining, okay, animal husbandry. So all these activities, that is activities directly related to nature. Next, urban settlements. Now what you mean by urban? That is the cities. Cities on the other hands are fewer and larger, okay? They are few also, but they are very very big also, okay? And they specialize in secondary and tertiary activities. That means their main occupation, people who are working in the cities, okay, living in the cities, their main occupation, my dear students, is secondary, that is related with production processes, all those manufacturing processes, and also tertiary activities, that is basically the service sector. So basically people belonging to the secondary and the tertiary sector live in the urban settlements, okay? So this is about the rural and the urban areas or the settlements, okay? Next, so we have seen these are the various sizes. So from small up to large, we may have isolated farm sheds, that is, you know, where people stay in big farms around and only one house in the middle, okay? Then after that, after some distance, you will get one more big farm and a small house in the middle. Then we have got hamlets, then we have got villages, towns, cities, metropolis. So these are the various size, okay? That is from big to from small to big, okay? Next, we have divided over here again the rural and the urban distinction, that is what is the difference between rural and urban. So rural, I told you, is basically single function, that is they have got only one function, and the main function that they have or the main occupation that they have is basically the primary activities, that is related with farming, fishing, forestry and mining. Whereas my dear students, urban sector is multifunctional. It means that there are secondary activities and tertiary activities in those, that is like for example industries, there are service sectors in that, okay? So all these various sectors, what are the, just now as I told you, basically production processes, all these things are mainly found in the urban areas, okay? Now what you mean by nucleated and what you mean by dispersed? So nucleated are buildings which are very close to each other, where there is clusters this way. There are people who are staying very close to each other. Say for example, our area, when you can see it in Nalasupara East, you will find people are staying very close to each other. Okay, whereas dispersed, what you find it in your villages, they are very far away from each other. Houses are really very far away from each other. There is a quite long amount of distance between the houses, what we see. Okay, my dear students, so that is about the nucleated and the dispersed settlements. Now let us continue with the textbook, that is with the human settlements lesson. So my dear students, right in the beginning we can find that there are two images what you can see in your textbook. Okay, that is figure 7.1a and figure 7.1b. Now my dear students, I want all of you all to carefully look at both these images and try to understand what kind of settlements can you see. That means whether 7.1a is a nucleated or a dispersed settlement. Likewise, the same thing with the 7.1b also. Okay, so I want all of you all to carefully look into this. Now, once you have finished seeing it, there are a few questions which are there below the image. You have to complete those questions, and those questions are as a homework for you all. So you have to solve those questions, write down the answers of that, and then send it to me by evening. Okay, as a homework. Now we shall continue ahead with the geographical explanation. In India, we can see a variety of settlement patterns given the variety of climatic factors, availability of water, slope of land, and level of development. So my dear students, if you see in India, we can see a variety of settlements. We can see various kinds of settlements. But these settlement patterns, my dear students, are dependent on a few factors. I had taught you all in the lesson population also, that where people stay, whether the population is high, low or medium, okay, that depends on a few factors. The first one, my dear students, is climatic factors. Now what do you mean by climatic factors? Climatic factors is nothing but that is the climate is having to play a very important role over there. That is, say for example, where the climate is very nice, hot and humid type of a climate, there we can find many people staying. Whereas places where the climate is very hot, very harsh kind of climate, say for example Rajasthan, there the people staying are very less. Okay, so the first important factor is climate. The next one is availability of water. Now I explained to you all even this, that one of the most important thing for human beings to survive is nothing but water. So the place where water is available in plenty, there we can find that people are staying in very large numbers. Okay, then the slope of the land, whether the land has got a steep slope or a gentle slope. Where the land is having a flat land, for example say Mumbai, okay, these areas you will be having very high population, and also level of development for, say for example, huge cities like Kolkata, Mumbai, New Delhi. Then we have got in the south, say for example Chennai. Okay, so all these places, what are there? They are having very high population. Why? Because the level of development over there is very high. Now let us see where we get nucleated settlements. So nucleated settlements are found throughout the plateau region of the Narmada Valley. So wherever Narmada is a river, so wherever the river is flowing, okay, there we have got people who are staying in nucleated settlements. That means people who are staying very close to each other. Then the paddy lands of Bihar. Paddy lands are nothing but, paddy is nothing but, that is rice, where rice is grown, okay, in Bihar, in UP, that is Uttar Pradesh, in the Vindhyan plateau, and several other cultivated parts of India. So basically you see, These areas are in the North Indian plains, one of the most or one of the heavily populated areas. You have seen this in the lesson population also. So people who are staying there are staying very close to each other in nucleated settlements. Okay, next my dear students, on the other hand, dispersed, that is staying very far away from each other, are found mainly in the tribal part, that is in the forest areas covering the central part of India. Then eastern and southern Rajasthan, basically eastern Rajasthan, where there are plenty of deserts, that is the complete desert, the Great Indian Desert, the Thar Desert is there over there. Okay, and also in the Himalayan slopes, because of the slope of the land is having a very steep slope, so automatically the people who are living there are very less. And also land with dissected and uneven topography. What do you mean by dissected? That is, people staying on the mountains, okay, and where uneven topography, that is where the land is rough, where the land is very much rocky. So we can see that people who are staying there are very less in numbers. So my dear students, if you look all over India, you will see that we have got even nucleated settlements and we have got dispersed settlements also. Now if you look carefully, you will understand the relationship of human settlements of India and also the population of India. Okay, you will find that the map what you had seen for the population, the dot method and the choropleth method, has got relation with nucleated settlements and also dispersed settlements. That means where the facilities are good, like for example climate, availability of water, slope of land and the level of development, we can find that people are staying in nucleated settlements. There is a very high amount of population in those areas. Whereas on the dispersed settlements, my dear students, that is where there are tribal areas, the desert areas, the Himalayan mountains, all these places we can see that the people who are staying very far away from each other. Now my dear students, you have got a few questions which are there over here. You have got the list of these amenities. Amenities are nothing but facilities. Now you have to decide whether these facilities are found in villages or in cities. Certain things you may get in both villages as well as cities. So you have to find out whether these are found in villages, that is the rural areas, or cities, that is the urban areas. And also you have to write down at least 5 sentences of each, okay, based on your vicinity. Vicinity is nothing but your locality. So this also is the second homework that is there for today. Okay, the first homework I had given you of nucleated and dispersed 7.1a and 7.1b, okay, of India. Then this is the next one, amenities and facilities, what are available in villages, cities, or are they available in both? Okay, so this is the next one. And after this, my dear students, we will continue with the third homework what is there for you all, that is 7.2a and 7.2b. This both are showing you two different images of Brazil. One is of the lowlands of the Amazon river. Okay, so one if you see is of the Amazon river, the first one 7.2a, and 7.2b, my dear students, is of Sao Paulo. Okay, so you have to observe these settlements carefully and you have to write again, like India, which one is nucleated and which one is dispersed, and why, the reason behind being nucleated and the reason behind being dispersed. Okay, so you have to do these both also for homework. Let us continue with the geographical explanation. The earlier settlements in Brazil were formed by settlers from Europe, mainly in the coastal areas. So my dear students, if you see the earlier settlements, that is when Brazil began to have inhabitants, when Brazil began to form human settlements, the first people who came in these settlements or who formed human settlements in Brazil were basically people from Europe, that is the continent of Europe. They were traveling from there. Now once they came into a new place, that is Brazil is completely in a new continent, okay, a different continent, not in Europe but in a different continent. Okay, so they did not enter into the mainland, they stayed first in the coastal areas. Therefore if you see, the coastal area of Brazil is having higher population than any other part of Brazil. Okay, now the settlements have developed and are densely populated. So these settlements which had developed in the coastal areas by the Europeans who came into Brazil, they are today developed as well as they are densely populated. That is, the population is quite high in these areas. Okay, now what are the major reasons are given to y'all in the following two paragraphs. Okay, first one, although the coastal climate is hot and humid. Okay, although the climate in the coast is hot and humid and flat land is limited, that means the climate also is not so good and there is no much of flat land. Okay, why no flat land? Because of rugged topography. What do you mean by rugged topography? Again, just now as you saw it in India, uneven place because of rocks. Okay, so these kind of places there are high and the flat land is very limited. The region has a good supply of water, so it has got good supply of water. A large number of natural resources also are found, so there are very large number of natural resources also which are found in these areas. And the example given to you all is Sao Paulo. So what you can see it in 7.2b, that is the Sao Paulo area. So the climate is hot and humid, flat land is limited, but the region has got good supply of water. Along with that, they have also got plenty of natural resources. So Sao Paulo has extensive area under rich soil, which makes it ideal for growing coffee. So I told you in the lesson population also, and you have studied in the second lesson also, that Brazil is called as the coffee pot of the world. Okay, and Brazil ranks number 1 in the world in terms of growing coffee and sugarcane. And why is it? Because of the land which is there in Brazil is very fertile. Okay, it also has a large supply of natural minerals close by, such as iron ore, and it also has steady energy supply. Now first of all, they have got primary occupation, that is agriculture, where they are growing 2 crops which they are leading in the entire world, that is both coffee as well as sugarcane. Along with that, they have got even secondary occupation. And why secondary occupations? Because they have got steady supply of natural materials what is required. That is, say for example, raw materials what they require, like iron ore, and also steady supply, energy supply for running the industries. Okay, they have got both. Therefore, they have got this occupation also which is there, that is the secondary occupation also. Along with that, the southeastern area also has good transport system. So if you see the entire southeastern area, my dear students, they have got a very good transport system. Okay, that is, the transport routes are very good over there. This makes the Sao Paulo area a nucleated settlement. Therefore, my dear students, Sao Paulo area what is there is today having nucleated settlements in those areas. Okay, next, rural areas such as the northeastern highlands suffer from extreme droughts. Now while teaching in the lesson climate, I had told you that the highland areas, okay, they are suffering from droughts. What do you mean by droughts? Droughts are nothing but acute shortage of water. So they have got extreme shortage of water. So due to shortage of water, they cannot have agriculture. Okay, now if there is no agriculture, they have no other occupations for them. So therefore, the people who are staying over there, or settlements that are there over there, are very sparse. What do you mean by sparse? Sparse is nothing but very less. Okay, so people who are staying there are very few in number. Okay, next, my dear students, our settlements are sparse as we move on to the central part. So first we had seen the coastal areas, then we had seen the northeastern highlands. Now we are moving to the central part. So in the central part of Brazil, if you see, my dear students, again the population is becoming very sparse, that is very less. Now there are 4 reasons for that. The first one is the Amazon forest. Area is covered by thick dense equatorial forest. You can see that in 7.4 image also. Along with that, in 7.2a also you have got the areas of the Amazon river basin, okay, where the population is very sparse, and the reason for being sparse is it is covered by thick and dense equatorial forest. Next, the climate here also is very unhealthy and unfit for human settlements. That is, the climate over here also is unfit. We have studied in the introduction of the lesson that depends on few factors like climatic condition. So we see the climate itself is unhealthy over here. So automatically the people who are staying will be very less in number if the climate is unhealthy and unfit. Okay, limitations on use and exploitation of resources. So since it is the protected area, okay, it is the world's biggest jungle. So nobody has ever seen the minerals what are available beneath it, or nobody has even destroyed it. Okay, so there is limitations on the use also, and also on the exploitation. So we cannot even destroy this forest because they are world heritage places. Okay, so therefore nobody has got even the secondary occupation there, because no natural resources and large poor transport links in the region. So there are no roads, there are no waterways, there are no airways, so there is no transportation routes also available in the Amazon areas, okay, in the central part of Brazil. So okay, just to have a quick overlook of the entire lesson, I have given you all 3 homeworks. The first homework is of 7.1A and 7.1B, where you have to observe the images carefully, the photos what are there in your textbook, okay, on page number 46, and answer the questions which are there below it. Then you have to also look at the table of the amenities and say whether it is found in cities or in the villages, or whether it is found in both cities as well as villages. And the third homework, my dear students, is of the Brazil 7.2A and 7.2B, that is the places in the Amazon river and also Sao Paulo respectively. So we have got all these 3 homeworks to do, and also a short revision of the entire thing. We had seen the introduction, what we mean by human settlements, 2 main types of human settlements, that is rural and urban areas. Okay, rural are basically villages and urban are basically cities. In villages we have got the main occupation, that is primary occupation, primary sector, and in urban areas, cities, we have got that is the tertiary and the secondary sector. Okay, along with that we had also seen the introduction of the lesson in your textbook, that is depending on a few factors, that is here I have it for you all, that is climatic factors, availability of water and slope of land and level of development. So all these are various factors that are very very important when determining the settlement patterns of either India or Brazil. Okay, then we have seen nucleated settlements, basically in the North Indian plains where the fertile land is available, there are plenty of industries, and also there are level of development is very high. On the other hand, my dear students, we have seen dispersed settlements which are in the central part of India, and also the jungle area, that is the tribal parts of India, and also the Rajasthan and the Himalayan areas. Okay, after that we had seen with the geographical explanation of Brazil. Now in Brazil we had seen that the coastal areas of Brazil, okay, they were the places where the earlier settlements in Brazil were started, that is people first came from Europe and settled along the coast of Brazil. Okay, and later on slowly they developed, and today they have become densely populated. Okay, then we had seen the next area, that is one of the best areas over there, that is Sao Paulo, which has got primary occupations like agriculture, where it is very good in growing coffee. Then we have got secondary occupations where there are plenty of industries because of natural minerals what are available. Okay, and also the good transport routes which can provide quick services to the people over there in those areas. Okay, then we had seen the northeastern highlands, they are suffering from extreme drought because of the lack of rainfall, because of the rain shadow area, therefore the people who are staying there are very very less. Along with that we had also seen that the central part of Brazil also is having less settlements because of thick equatorial forest over there. The climate is very unhealthy and unfit, the climatic conditions are not so good, there are limitations on the use and exploitation of natural resources, that is we cannot exploit the natural resources also in those areas, and also the poor transport links in the region. Okay, so that's all for you all in today's lecture, my dear students. I again give you a reminder that please complete your homework and give it on time to me, and stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself and your families. God bless you.